Hi, I'm Mark McCulley. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Advent towards Christmas. And today, W is for waiting. But I don't like waiting. Maybe you don't either. Many people don't. We've invented microwaves and instant soup and Instagram and ever faster computers and cars and phones because we don't like waiting. And children, of course, right now are probably anxiously waiting for the day that they can open their gifts under the tree if they have presents under a Christmas tree. They're always waiting impatiently for something anyway. Ancient Israel, way back in the day, was asking the same kind of question. How long was this going to be until they were delivered from their enemies, their oppressors? In Psalm 74 in the Bible, several different times in that psalm, it says, "How long, O Lord? How long are we going to have to wait?" Turned out it was going to be a very long time. 2,000 years ago, Israel in Jesus's day was still waiting. They were waiting for their promised Messiah. They were getting anxious because they were reading the signs. They were reading all those old prophecies in the old books like Isaiah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel. And they were thinking, it can't be long, can it? It must be coming soon. When is he going to be here? And they wanted somebody who would come in and set them free from oppression and injustice and sorrow and pain, just like back when Psalm 74 was written, and this time from the Roman occupation and oppression. So they were hoping this new Messiah, when he showed up, would be the one to do that. Mary, the mother of Jesus, waited too. Even after the angel Gabriel came to her and said she was going to bear the promised Messiah, she still had to wait 9 whole months, day after day after day, as the baby grew big inside of her and she got more and more crowded and it was harder to breathe, and she got all the things that every woman has during the later stages of a pregnancy. And even when labor started, she still had to wait even longer for the baby to finally pop out as she pushed harder and harder and harder. She didn't have some miraculous instabirth. She had regular labor, just like every pregnant woman does. But finally, Jesus came. The baby popped out, but he was still a baby. And so they had to wait for him to grow up to see what was going to happen. And even when he started his preaching and teaching ministry around Judea and Galilee and other parts, they still had to wait for him. His disciples, his followers, were waiting for him to reveal himself and to declare himself and say, okay, now I'm the promised Messiah. Raise an army, defeat the Romans, miraculously win battles, do great feats of glory, and set them free from oppression and sorrow and injustice and pain. Only he went to the cross instead. He got crucified and killed because they were waiting for him to create in them a great nation, and instead he created a whole new humanity. That's a story for a different day. Tune in tomorrow. But what happened instead was he died. He won by dying, as we look at it in the spiritual sense, because he went to the grave for all of us, and then he was resurrected 3 days later for all of us. And his disciples thought, great, now they can't kill him again, surely. And so now we can have the kingdom for Israel. No, that didn't happen either. Instead, Jesus started a spiritual kingdom, which is less visible, but much more real and much more powerful even than a political one. And so we're still waiting for the finality of it all, for it all to wrap up and everything to start afresh and anew. Won't that be great? So what do? We're still waiting 2 millennia later. We're waiting for Jesus to return. While we still suffer through the same sorrow and pain and difficulty and injustice and death that humanity always has. But because the world has experienced Jesus once already, we don't wait without hope. We wait knowing what's going to come, what will happen. So what do we do while we wait? Well, we can follow his example by showing love and kindness and generosity and patience to the people that Jesus loves, which happens to be everybody. And we don't have to wait to love them. I'm Mark McCauley. Thanks for watching. Be blessed today.